I'm Louise Webster. My piece is called In Hollowed Bone I Hear the Seas Roar. That title's taken from a poem by Ruth Dallas about the sea. She's a New Zealand poet, and it just kind of fitted the piece after I'd written it. I play, fairly terrible second violin in St Matthew's Chamber Orchestra, and I'm very lucky they've asked me to write quite a few pieces over the years. So a couple of years ago, Michael Joel, who's the music director for St Matthew's, said he would like me to write a more substantial piece, a longer piece for the orchestra. And when I came to write it, I guess with a non-professional orchestra, there are things the orchestra can do really well and some things that are more tricky. And so I started thinking, well, perhaps I could have a few solos in the orchestral piece with whoever was our concerto soloist for that concert, because it was commissioned for the October concert last year in 2016. So I wrote to Michael and said, who's our soloist for this concert, and do you think they'd mind playing a few little solos in it? And he wrote back a week or so later and said, oh, it's Helene Pohl, and she's delighted to be playing your violin concerto. Which it transpired was a bit of a misunderstanding, because she then in due course got handed a full-scale violin concerto from me, and she was already playing Prokofiev too. So I said, oh, that's a bit much. She said, oh no, that's fine, as only Helene can, because she's an astounding musician and kind of can play anything. So I ended up writing a violin concerto for Helene to play with St Matthew's, and it got performed last October. And then I was very lucky that it got selected again for the SOUNZ NZSO readings. And then when the date was changed, I had to get another soloist because Helene was out of the country. So I've been very, very lucky to have Yuka from the NZSO play it. The piece is in 3 movements. The first movement is quite slow moving. It's sort of built around a slow moving rising figure in the violin that comes back in various forms, and also has several quite contrasting, more rhythmic, a little fast section, and also a very slow-moving section that gets repeated with long, slow violin lines over the top of steadily moving orchestral instruments. I then wrote a movement for violin with just the string section. And that again is quite slow-moving, opens with harmonics and closes just with the solo violin by itself. And then I thought, oh gosh, well, this is going to be a bit dreary actually, you know, it's got all these slow moving things. So I thought, oh, I'd better write something that's a bit more lively, and so wrote what eventually became the second movement, and that's quite fast and rhythmic and a bit more virtuosic for the violin. It was really interesting to hear a piece played by a different soloist. And I tend to try and let people make what they will of a piece. I suppose I've had experiences over the years of sometimes having a very definite idea in my head, and then someone does something different and I sort of go, oh, that's not what I mean. And then afterwards I think, well, actually, that was quite an interesting idea and I shouldn't close on that. I do really believe that once you've written a piece of music, in a sense, it then belongs to the performers and they can do what they like with it. I might not necessarily like it, but if that's what feels right for them. So Yuka's done some really interesting, slightly different things and brought her own kind of colour to it, really. Yeah.